Today's video is going to be all about my fluffy fragrances. If you're interested, then just keep watching. Before we get into the video, I do want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who may be new here. My name is Aisha. I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So as I said, today's video is going to be about my fluffy fragrances. And basically, whenever I smell the fragrances that we're going to talk about today, they give me that fluffy feeling. Most of them have either marshmallow or whipped cream in them, but I didn't want to just lock in on a marshmallow video because I've already done that video a while ago and I don't have that many more marshmallow fragrances. And I didn't want to lock in on a whipped cream video either, just because not all whipped cream fragrances or fragrances that feature the note of whipped cream, not all of them give me that fluffy feeling. Some of them are dense, same with marshmallow. Some of them are dense, some of them are heavy and thick smelling. All the fragrances I'm talking about today give me that fluffy feeling. There's like a whipped nature to it, an airy, kind of puffed up nature to these fragrances. I think y'all feel me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the fragrances. So the first fragrance that I have is Killian Princess. This one is quite popular, but I still wanted to mention it because to me, it is definitely a fluffy smelling fragrance. So when I smell this, I get marshmallow. There is a green tea or a matcha note in this as well that gives it this herbal touch. And there's also ginger in here as well. To me, the ginger is not a lot, but you can definitely smell some sort of zing to this fragrance. And the overall experience I get from this is like a fluffy marshmallow, but it's not super sweet. It does have that airy quality to it, so I don't feel like it is ever overpowering, even in the heat. I know I've heard some people say this fragrance was just way too light, but that's definitely not the case for me. And although this fragrance is all about the marshmallow, it's done in a way that to me smells grown up. It doesn't smell too juvenile, and it also doesn't smell extremely feminine. Now, I do think this smells feminine because when I wear this, it kind of gives me like that flirty type mood. But I could still picture a man who maybe loves sweet scents maybe wearing this. I'm not sure. I don't know. If you're a man and you wear Killian Princess, let us know. But to me, it just doesn't smell like what you would think a marshmallow scent would smell like. So it's done very, very well. And I think this is definitely worth a smell if you have not tried this fragrance yet. So again, that is Killian Princess. This next fragrance is from Mix Bar, and this is Whipped Almond. So this fragrance is an almond fragrance, and you definitely get that almond smell. It is a sweet almond, almost like a candied almond smell. But there is something in this fragrance that gives it that whipped appeal, like the name. So when I smell this fragrance, I think about like a very sweet candied almond, but mixed with whipped cream. It gives off that type of effect. It's beautiful. It's not super complex or anything like that, but I definitely think for this price point, I think these are like $20 at Target. I will link it down below, but for this price point, I think this is a really nice fragrance. It is simple, but it's not boring in my opinion. I like wearing this one to bed a lot. Now, I wouldn't wear this out on a date, but it would be great for like an everyday type scent if you're an everyday scent type of person. And like I said, I like to wear it to bed. Now, when it comes to longevity or anything like that, I really don't know because I generally just wear this to bed. But for $20, pop this in your purse and respray it. Okay, it's not that serious. So again, that is Mix Bar Whipped Almond. This next fragrance is from Parfums de Marly, and this is Oriana. So this fragrance is beautiful. To me, when I smell this, I get a raspberry, orange blossom, marshmallow scent. As the fragrance dries down, I do think that more of the raspberry comes out. The orange blossom kind of dies down, but you still kind of have that marshmallow vibe to it, and it gets even more creamy. I believe there's whipped cream or either chantilly cream in this fragrance. It gets even more creamy in the dry down. I think this is absolutely beautiful. This one is one that I personally prefer to wear in the daytime, but I could see myself wearing this out on a fun date night, like if we're going to do something like Top Golf or something like that. I could see myself wearing it out for that too, because this is a fun, flirty fragrance, but it's definitely not juvenile. This is a grown woman, fun, flirty fragrance. And I just really enjoy it every time I wear the fragrance. I did do a review video on this fragrance when it first came out. I will link it for you all. Since then, I have found an oil that I do pair with this fragrance to improve the performance on it, because that was the biggest downside for me. I've always loved the scent. So I will leave the name of the oil that I use down below as well, but I love this fragrance. So again, that is Parfums de Marly Oriana. This next fragrance is from Reminiscence, and this is Guimauve. So this is another marshmallow fragrance, but this one is quite herbal in my opinion. I don't remember the notes in this fragrance, but you definitely get the marshmallow. To me, the marshmallow is the most prominent note, and it is that fluffy marshmallow. It's not too dense of a marshmallow, but you also get this herbal or aromatic nature. And so this one doesn't necessarily smell like food in my opinion, although marshmallow is the most prominent note. So I did want to definitely mention that, because I remember when this one started being a little bit more popular on YouTube, some people were disappointed because they weren't expecting that herbal or aromatic touch to it. So I definitely wanted to let you know about that. But I think that makes it stand out. It makes it smell more complex and luxe. And I really thoroughly enjoy this fragrance, and it lasts pretty well. And it's also one that gives me that cloud of fragrance, so I smell it the entire time I'm wearing it. So I love this for daytime wear. I could see somebody wearing this out at night, but I personally wouldn't go for this type of fragrance at night, but I have worn it to bed or around the house. So that's how it kind of fits into my collection. But I could see if somebody really loves sweet, flirty scents, I could see somebody wearing this out on a date night, because it is a little bit more of a serious marshmallow, if that makes sense. But it's beautiful. So again, that is Reminiscence Guimauve. This next fragrance is a newer one to my collection, but it definitely deserved a spot in this video. This is Frank Boucle Sugar. So this fragrance is fluffy smelling. I think marshmallow is the main note in this fragrance as well. At least that's what it smells like to me. But it smells like a fluffy marshmallow, but definitely some greenness in this. This is not the average marshmallow. It's actually not even super sweet. It's interesting. It's fluffy like a marshmallow, but take away the sweetness, add in some greenness to it. And then it also has a very slightly soapy smell to it. It sounds like it's all over the place. And to be honest, I do think it is complex, and it's not going to be for everybody, but I am thoroughly enjoying this. I've worn it now 3 times, I think, and I've really enjoyed this. It lasts a long time. I definitely think this is better for me for daytime use, but because it's so different, I could see myself wearing this out at night too, and I have worn this to bed as well. So I think it's going to be pretty versatile in my collection, because it's just not your average marshmallow. This is definitely one I could see a man wearing, and I think it would smell good on a man as well. So I think this is pretty unisex. But yeah, I really have been enjoying this fragrance thus far. I mean, I know I said it's not that sweet, but there is some sweetness to it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's a bitter fragrance. There is some sweetness to it, but with a name like Sugar, I personally kind of expected more of like a very sweet, sugary, tooth-achingly sweet, dense marshmallow, and that's not what I got. So don't be fooled by the name. Try to get a sample of this if you're interested, because I just know it's not going to work for everybody, but I have been thoroughly enjoying it. So again, that is Frank Boucle Sugar. The next fragrance that I have is from Commodity, and this is Milk. I have mine in the expressive version. If you have not heard of Commodity before, I have done a video featuring their fragrances. By the way, before I forget, this was sent to me from the company a while ago, but I have done a video featuring their fragrances, and they have this thing called Scent Space. What that basically means is they come out with 3 concentrations of their fragrances. So they have a personal scent space, which is like a lighter version of the fragrance, an expressive scent space, which is like the medium regular version of their fragrance, and then they also have a bold scent space, which is the boldest concentration of their fragrance. So this is the expressive, meaning the way it would originally come, the medium-sized Commodity Milk. So This is becoming very popular on YouTube lately, which is kind of surprising, but it is a really good fragrance, so I'm not mad at it. So I know the name is Milk, and it definitely has a lactonic vibe. This is a milky fragrance, but to me, it's like a milky marshmallow. It's quite fluffy. It smells sweet. It is very cozy, very comforting in my opinion. Because it has that fluffy nature to it, although it is a sweet fragrance and it's milky, I still think you can wear this during the daytime, especially in cooler or colder weather. I have worn this in the day when it's hot and it wasn't too much for me, but I could imagine that for some people it would be a little bit too much when it's hot. But since we're going into fall, this is like the perfect time to pull this fragrance out. I actually really like wearing this one to bed. I know I said it was like a milky marshmallow that's sweet, but I also forgot to mention that there are some spices in the background of this and some very slight woods, probably something like sandalwood that is also adding to that creaminess. But you can definitely smell that there is something like really holding this fragrance down, and I think it's just very, very nice. So if you're looking for a sweet, fluffy fragrance, but you want some substance to it, try Commodity Milk. Don't let the name scare you. Although this is a milky fragrance, I think this is the kind of milky lactonic fragrance that a lot of people will love. It's very easy to take in my opinion. So again, that is Commodity Milk Expressive. The next fragrance I have is from House of Sillage, and this is Cream Chiffon. So this was released a couple months ago, and at the time of me filming this video, this fragrance is actually on sale for 40% off. So definitely check out my link below. It is an affiliate link, so I will earn some commission from it if you purchase through that link. But definitely check it out if you're interested in this fragrance. I can't promise it's still going to be on sale by the time I post this video, but hopefully it will be. Anyway, this is a beautiful fragrance. In my mind, this smells like a citrusy whipped cream fragrance. It really reminds me of like lemon meringue. Like that's what I picture every time I smell this fragrance. It's really beautiful. The citrus is not too strong, but it is definitely there and it gives it a little bit of brightness. And this is just a very fluffy, airy fragrance. When I think about a fluffy fragrance, this is probably the first one that comes to mind because that's what I get every time I smell this. Now, this is pretty light fragrance. It is not a beast mode projection or longevity or anything like that. But I will say this lasts pretty decently on me. It's not going to be like 8 hours, but I would say about 5 hours. But for this type of fragrance, I feel like that's pretty decent. But also, it is one of those fragrances that you will think that people don't smell you, but they really do. When I say it lasts 5 hours, I mean on my skin. On the clothes, it does stick around a lot longer, but this is one that I get compliments on when I can no longer smell it on myself. So I definitely needed to mention that because I'm always surprised every time I get a compliment on this fragrance because I just feel like it's so light, and although it's beautiful, I just don't really expect people to compliment me on it, but they do. Now, because this is a lighter fragrance, I think you can get away with wearing this year round, but I will say if you live in a place that gets very cold, I don't know, it may not be enough to get through those layers of your clothes unless you're like spraying your outerwear or whatever. But I don't see this like penetrating through a coat or anything like that. But again, this is House of Sillage Cream Chiffon. The last fragrance that I have is another one from House of Sillage, and this is Minnie Mouse. Look at that bottle. So this was sent to me from the brand recently, and I love this. I did feature it in my birthday haul video, so check out that video. But I have worn it since then, and I thoroughly enjoy this. So when I smell this, I smell what I interpret as strawberry, but strawberry is not a note in this fragrance. I looked up the notes after I hauled this fragrance and realized there was no strawberry in it. But to me, that's what I get. It smells like a strawberries and cream type fragrance. There are some other berries that are listed in the notes, so I'm assuming just the way that the notes come together, that's why it smells like strawberries to me. But I can definitely pick up on other berries in the background, but I swear it smells like strawberries and cream to me. And it has this very fluffy nature. I love this. When I wore this for the first time, I think I wore it to church, and I just really couldn't stop smelling myself. I actually feel like this performs pretty well. It lasted at least a good 7 hours without it becoming a skin scent on me. So I thought that was pretty good. And at the time it wasn't cold. I mean, it's not cold here now. It was pretty hot and it still lasted that long on me. And it gave me that cloud of fragrance where I could actually really smell it on myself. So I have been thoroughly enjoying this. I think that if you are a gourmand lover, this may be one you want to check out from House of Sillage, because it is nice and sweet. It has that fruity nature to it, but it's really about the creamy fluffiness of this fragrance. And I'm pretty sure whipped cream is the fluffy factor in this fragrance, but I could be wrong. Y'all know I don't read the notes right before these videos because I really just like to tell y'all what I smell. But yeah, that's what it smells like to me, like strawberries and other berries and whipped cream. It is delicious smelling without smelling like extremely edible, that I think it will be hard to wear, because I know a lot of you all don't like the super edible scents. This is one that I think smells delicious, but it's not so edible that it'll bother you. So hopefully that makes sense, but I love it. It's gorgeous. So if you love Minnie Mouse and you love sweet fragrances, you definitely need to get your hands on this. Again, that is Minnie Mouse from the House of Sillage. So those were the fluffy fragrances that I wanted to share with you all. If you have a go-to fluffy fragrance that I didn't mention here, let us know that in the comments below. Also, if you've tried any of the fragrances I mentioned, definitely let us know what you think of them down below as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I upload videos 3 times a week, so make sure you also have that notification bell on so that you don't miss out. If you're not already following me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me over there as well. I always give you guys sneak peeks of new fragrances and just chit chat with you all in my Instagram stories. So definitely check me out on Instagram. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Bye.